Can waking up early make you a better runner? Let's talk about that. Hello, fellow geeks, and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather, and I am glad you're here today. So, are you a morning person? I don't really think that I am. And sometimes the thought of having to get up early for a run or for a race really just drains me just thinking about it. However, a lot of studies have shown that there are some great benefits to getting up and running in the morning. So, let's talk about what some of those benefits could be. So a lot of people say that they really enjoy running in the morning because it's a great way to experience some alone, quiet time. You can sort of watch the world wake up around you. It gives you a really good energy boost, and it makes you feel like you've accomplished something before your day has even started. You may even find that if you tend to have a fairly busy schedule throughout the day, that mornings are the most convenient time for you to get up and get a workout. It's especially good if you want to train your body to be awake and ready to run in the morning, since that's when most of your races are going to occur. Now, if you're not naturally a morning person, it can be super hard to get into the habit of getting up and running early. But there are some ways to ease into the early morning running habit. So let's talk about what some of those ways could be. Number one, you need to make sure that you have good sleep habits. So building a morning running habit starts with getting a good night's sleep the night before. This is really hard to do, especially if you are a night owl, if you like to stay up and get things done, to watch TV, to read. Maybe you're using the TV to lull yourself to sleep. So you need to start practicing good sleep hygiene. Good sleep hygiene just means that you are using the best practices that you can in order to allow yourself to get the most out of your sleep. Now, according to the American Sleep Association, you can train yourself to go to sleep earlier if you do these things. Number one, avoid caffeine or alcohol for at least 3 hours before bedtime. Number two, avoid taking a midday nap. Number three, get into a nightly routine, such as taking a warm bath, meditation, listening to calming music. Number four, try to go to sleep at the same time every night. Number five, set up a quiet and comfortable area in which to sleep. And number six, stop reading, watching TV, or using electronic devices for at least an hour before bedtime. A lot of this goes contrary to what we are usually doing before we go to sleep, but it does take some practice, and it will eventually start to feel more natural and allow you to get more restful sleep. Habit number two for training yourself to get up for a morning run would be to sleep in your running clothes. Now, it is really hard to go ahead and just skip your run if you're already dressed for it. So if you want a jump start and get motivation as soon as your eyes open, then you could wear your running clothes to bed. Now, this is something, again, that may seem just a little bit odd. It is a trick that a lot of early morning runners use, and it's something that I've used myself when I know I have a super long run coming up and I've got to start at, say, 4 in the morning. A lot of times it's easier for me to just sleep in my running clothes. Make sure that they are clean, ready to use running clothes, and not the sweaty ones that you just wore the day before. And if you leave your shoes next to your bed, you're ready to go as soon as you wake up. Option number three would be to just lay out your running clothes. This is something that I do quite often. If you don't like the idea of sleeping in your running clothes, then you can always just have your clothes ready to go by your bed so that as soon as you wake up, you can change into them when you get up. A lot of runners will also say they'll prefer to leave their clothes in the bathroom so that they have a nice space to get dressed, and that way you won't risk waking up anybody who may be sleeping in the room with you. And another tip would be to add a running hat to that outfit, because then you don't have to worry about doing anything with your hair before you go out. Habit number four, make sure that your alarm clock is out of reach. When your alarm clock goes off, it's easy to hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. I know, I've done that before. And before you realize it, 30 or 40 minutes have passed and you don't have enough time left to run. So to build a morning running habit, if this is something that happens to you, if you're wanting to be more consistent with getting up, then you can't skip every second or third day and expect to build a consistent routine. So if you're struggling to get up, maybe put your alarm clock across the room so that you are forced to get out of bed in order to turn it off. Or put it in the bathroom on top of your running clothes. The more steps you put between you and the bed, the less likely you are to jump back in and go to sleep. Number 5, give yourself an incentive. If you are actively training for a race and you're following a training schedule, then it's harder to just skip a morning run if you know that you have goals that you have to reach. You have a set goal and you want to keep with the program in order to get there. So even if you're not training, you should do the same. Set some sort of a goal for yourself so that you can maintain growth and get the most out of a run. The goal doesn't have to be distance. It doesn't have to be just checking days off of a calendar. You could even reward yourself if you meet a certain target. You could gift yourself with a massage, a spa treatment, a new running outfit, maybe even a new pair of shoes. Find a way to give yourself incentives for achieving consistent runs. Number 6, make sure that you are planned and sometimes changing up your route. Now, if you are not really a morning person, then sometimes
running the exact same route over and over and over and over again
gets a little bit dull, and it may kind of add to your reluctance to get out of bed if you're just going to do the same old thing again. So if you want to mix things up, then plan your morning run the night before. Determine how far, how long you're going to run. And you can map it in advance. You can use Google Maps. There are options on Strava for you to find areas to run. You can find new landmarks. You can find a hill that you want to conquer. There are lots of things that you can do in order to keep your route fresh, to make things a little bit more enjoyable and give yourself something to look forward to on your next run. Number 7, find a running buddy or running club. This is great because it obligates you to show up. If you know that you have someone depending on you to come out for a run, then you are going to be more likely to actually show up and get the run done. If you usually run by yourself, you can find a friend or family member. You can run alternate days with different partners. You can even find or start your own running group. Just look through Meetup or through Facebook and see what's available around you. When you're selecting someone to run with, make sure that you are finding someone who is on a similar fitness level or has a similar goal to yours. If you and your partner don't match up, it could be embarrassing for the slower partner. It could be frustrating for the faster partner. So make sure that you are being selective and don't let exercise get in the way of a good friendship. Tip number 8, remember to eat smart. It is not always great to run on an empty stomach. There are a lot of runners who will run fasted, but it doesn't work for everyone, especially after a long night's sleep. You're in a fasted state. You don't have a whole lot to draw on in the way of energy. And if you head out not eating anything at all, some people can feel weak or nauseated depending on how your body works. There are also a lot of people who think that they are not suited for morning running only because they are not fueling ahead of time. So rather than heading straight out the door, grab some quick energy, something like a banana, a breakfast bar, a slice of toast with peanut butter. By eating the right foods, then you don't risk overeating and feeling ill. Number 9, make sure that you are well hydrated. Now, after 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is already going to be just a little bit dehydrated, and running without replenishing your fluids can be a pretty big mistake. So you don't want water sloshing around in your stomach, so you want to make sure that you don't overdo it, but taking a little bit of water in is not going to cause you discomfort if you give it a few minutes to settle. You can also bring something with electrolytes along with you when you run. General rule of thumb is about 3 to 6 fluid ounces for every mile that you run. A lot of runners will say that it helps them to have a cup of coffee before they run. However, you do need to keep in mind that if you are planning your morning route, then you may need to find a restroom along the way so that you're not forced to run home with a full bladder. And number 10, make sure that you are investing in reflective clothing. It's important to plan out your running safety gear that you need on morning runs, especially during daylight savings times when the sun is not rising until later in the morning. So you need to make sure that you are being seen in traffic and wear reflective clothing. There are jackets, vests, hats, even running shoes that have reflective elements on them in order to help you be seen by traffic. The best products have neon colors that will glow in the dark. You can also get different vests with flashing lights that you can switch on and off. When running on your own, don't leave without some form of communication, such as a cell phone, and carry identification with you, such as your health insurance card and ID, or an ID bracelet, such as this one that I wear from Road ID, link in the description. Also remember that for safety's sake, it's really good to run with others if you're going to be running in the dark. If you do run alone, try to keep to busier areas that are more well lit. So there are 10 different things for helping you become more of a morning runner. Now, tell me, do you prefer to run in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? What usually works best for you? Why don't you let me know down in the comments below? While you're there, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just click that subscribe button and it keeps you up to date on all the running content I have coming out all the time. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you could be here. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. I will see you later.